Police say Jared Ramos blasted his way into the newsroom of the Capital Gazette Thursday afternoon, armed with a 12-gauge pump-action shotgun after first barricading the back door exit. Anthony Messenger, in his first month as an intern, hid under a desk, terrified when that door wouldn't open.
I don't know how he locked it, but at that point, I felt like a fish in a barrel. It was like, he's here to do harm to us. This was a plan, it's calculated. And at that point, I thought we were going to die.
After 5 people were fatally shot, police closed in and found Ramos hiding under a desk. But for hours after arresting him, they had no idea who he was. He said almost nothing. So they used the state's facial recognition system to identify him, leading to a search of his apartment, where investigators say they found signs that he planned the attack well in advance.
I'll say this, the fellow was there to kill as many people as he could kill.
Ramos was no stranger to the newspaper. Police and court records say he'd been raging about it for 7 years, ever since a story accurately described his 2011 conviction for stalking, harassing a woman he knew in high school, calling her vulgar names online, and trying to get her fired when she stopped responding to him. The newspaper story said she lived in fear for her safety for months. Today, the woman says she told the police back then, quote, "He will be your next mass shooter." Her lawyer says Ramos was the most evil person he's ever seen in a courtroom.
He was obsessive about people that he considered to have wronged him. He didn't just not like, he didn't argue with. He wanted to destroy whoever he figured had wronged him.
Ramos sued the newspaper for defamation but lost when the courts ruled that the stories were accurate. He also began posting threats against the Capital Gazette. The paper complained to police, who concluded there wasn't enough evidence to arrest him. But a former publisher says the paper's staff considered him dangerous.
He had a photo taken of him, made sure our front desk was aware that he could come in at any moment, and that my staff was aware of what he looked like.
In court today, Ramos was charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder and ordered held without bail. Police say Ramos bought the shotgun he used in the attack a year ago. He'd already been convicted of the crime of stalking at that point, but it was a misdemeanor, and under both Maryland and federal law, it did not disqualify him from buying a gun.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.